This week on WestfordCAT News, we learned that the controversial asphalt plant at Newport Materials is built and ready to begin operations. Select Board Chair Andrea Peraner-Sweet speaks on the death of George Floyd.
The death of George Floyd and the subsequent events over the past 2 weeks presents one of those moments in time.
Get out your parasols and yardsticks because town meeting will convene outdoors on June 20th. Stay tuned. WestfordCAT News is next. Health Director Jeff Stevens said he and Director of Environmental Services Ray Dick paid a visit to Newport Materials on June 5th at 540 Groton Road, and it looked like the asphalt plant is ready to roll. Here's Stevens.
The facility is basically ready to go. They owe us some paperwork, such as, I think one of the last things they needed was the as-built, but the facility is basically ready to run. They're prepared to make asphalt. It's their first project is probably going to be paving their own driveway, where they're going to be just working out their mix. And they told us about a week ago they'd be ready in 3 weeks, but I think they're going to be ready a little faster than that.
Stevens also provided information on the reopening of some businesses and restaurants with outdoor seating now that the state is in phase 2 of reopening.
And right now we are in day 1 of phase 2. And what we're doing in the department is we're working with planning, with fire, with police, with building, every single day to make sure that restaurants and places can open when they need to open. The biggest challenge was the seating, and some places were already ready to go with seating because it was in place already, and other places have had to put in alternate seating. So some of our local restaurants are still not quite ready to go.
Watch the entire Board of Health meeting on demand at westfordcat.org. The death of George Floyd in Minneapolis prompted Select Board Chair Andrea Peraner-Sweet to start a conversation that involves the community. Here she is sharing her thoughts at the June 9th Select Board meeting.
The death of George Floyd and the subsequent events over the past 2 weeks presents one of those moments in time. Cities and communities across the nation are looking at themselves, and it is fitting that Westford also pause and take a look at itself. The purpose of this agenda item is to start a discussion and a conversation. I'm sure if allowed, it could go on for hours, but that is not the purpose for tonight. The purpose tonight is to begin a conversation that may lead to suggestions for future actions, to discuss what are we currently doing to address issues such as racism, gender inequality, inclusion, and diversity. What can we do better? What are we not doing? And to involve the community in these conversations. Westford bills itself as a welcoming community, but there are residents in Westford who at times have not felt welcomed. Why is that so, and how do we address that? How do we create an environment and atmosphere that is safe, where residents who perceive that they have been treated unfairly or discriminated against can report those actions, feel that they will be heard, and that their perceptions and experiences will be addressed? Finally, the board and our police department want the community to know that the methods that were used by the Minneapolis police are not part of any training, policy, or program used by the Westford Police. There are policies in place dealing with the use of force, de-escalation, compilation of statistics of arrests, implicit bias, and those policies will be made available to the public. As I said, this is the start of a conversation that should involve all aspects of our community, including not just elected boards, but our police, our schools, our houses of worship, and most importantly, you, the residents of our town.
Watch the entire Select Board meeting at westfordcat.org. Annual town meeting postponed from March due to the pandemic virus is scheduled to meet on Saturday, June 20th at 9 a.m. at Westford Academy Trustees Field. Voters will act on 18 articles, including a citizen's petition requesting that the town recognize Indigenous Peoples Day in place of Columbus Day. For the first time in memory, the meeting will be held outdoors so voters can socially distance themselves from anyone carrying the coronavirus. WestfordCAT will record the entire meeting for on-demand viewing and will stream the event live. Early voting and absentee voting are ongoing this month. In fact, Town Clerk Patty Doobie is encouraging all registered voters to fill out a ballot application so that she can mail the official ballot to their homes. Once completed, the ballot can be dropped into the box behind Town Hall. Voters have until 8 p.m. on June 30th to turn it in. The election will take place on June 30th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and all 6 precincts will be open to voters. To learn more about the candidates, visit WestfordCatNews.org for News Director Joyce Polino-Crane's Guide for Voters. The Westford League of Women Voters also has a guide to help you decide on your vote. To view that, visit lwv.westford.org. The children's programs for ages 6 to 13 will be offered this summer, but with some changes. They'll be held at East Boston camps off Depot Street. There'll be no field trips. Face coverings will be required when social distancing is not possible. Only 40 to 60 children will be admitted, fewer than previous years, and put into groups of 10 with 2 group leaders. Here's James Duane, Director of Parks and Recreation, presenting to the Board of Health on June 8th.
As we've gone through this process, I've expressed to my board, I've expressed to Jody, I've expressed to my staff and to Jeff, we want to do this. This is what we do. At the core of what we do for a living, we want these programs and these operations to run. But, there are some concerns. There are some unknowns. And over the last 4 or 5 days, those unknowns have really been narrowed a little bit more, but there are still unknowns.
The town's 2 beaches, Forge Pond and Edwards Beach, are set to open on June 29th and will remain open until August 23rd. But with lingering concerns about Phase 3 of the reopening, Parks and Recreation Chair Christy Bates said the town's recreational programs will be different this season. There'll be no concessions sold at the beach. There'll be no lifeguards on duty. The restrooms will be open between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., which coincides with the beach's hours. How much would you pay for a picture that says Westford on it? WestfordCAT silent auction is in full swing and offering interesting, practical, and imaginative donations from members. Currently, a Boston Harbor whale watch cruise valued at $110 is selling for $51. If you're wondering what to get Dad for Father's Day, don't miss the Father's Day suggestions. New items are added to the auction each day. Visit westfordcat.org and click on the banner at the top of the page. Auction organizers encourage WestfordCAT members to purchase items and gift cards from local businesses to donate to WCAT, giving a bit of financial support to the businesses during the pandemic shutdown. I'm Patty Stalker, and you're watching WestfordCAT News.